What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Locked On Pirates podcast. I am, of course, your host. Who does the most? Ethan Smith. Hope you guys are all having a phenomenal September 21st. I'm sure everybody's probably listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire today. But on today's episode, we have some things to talk about. Aaron Judge hit home run number 60 last night. But for the Pirates, there were some other things that transpired in that bottom of the ninth inning at Yankee Stadium that we're going to get into. We're also going to look into Roansy Contreras' start tonight, his first against his former team in the New York Yankees, as well as highlighting some things that I liked last night. With that said, today's episode is brought to you by BlueChew, but more on them later. And today's episode is also brought to you by LinkedIn and all of our fine sponsors, BetOnline, Nugenix, etc. You'll hear about all of them on the podcast every single day. Thank you for making me your first listen of the day every single day when these podcasts come out Monday through Friday. On tomorrow's episode, we'll be previewing the weekend series against the Chicago Cubs. And on Friday, we will have Stacey Gotsulias of Locked On Yankees on to recap everything that happens in this series. And we have one more game tonight against the Bronx Bombers in New York at Yankee Stadium. With that said, let's get into today's episode.
You are Locked On Pirates, your daily Pittsburgh Pirates podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome, everybody, back to that Pirates podcast, the Locked On Pirates podcast, where it is your team, your Pittsburgh Pirates, every single day. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful Wednesday, September 21st. Again, it's Earth, Wind, and Fire Day. It's the best day of the year for playing the wonderful band that was known for a bunch of different things, all good. On today's episode, we're going to recap what happened last night, which the social media transpiration after this definitely told me that the Pittsburgh Pirates fans were not happy, and they should have no reason to be happy about what transpired last night. Rodolfo Castro hits a towering 3-run shot to give the Pirates a 8-4 lead, which felt very commanding at the time. It was like, okay, the Pirates are playing up to an opponent. They're going to get a big win in New York to try to avoid 100 losses. They're going to have a fun time in New York while that team is trying to go to the playoffs. So they go up 8-4. Will Crowe comes in, starts off a little sluggish, and when Aaron Judge hit home run number 60, shout out to him, by the way, tying Babe Ruth for the most home runs in an American League season in history. It was 8-5. And immediately after that happened, Rizzo gets on base with a double. And I said to myself, this is probably the least confident I've ever been in a Pirates team to hold a lead of that juncture since I've ever watched this team play. And when Rizzo got the double, they came out, Oscar Marine came out to talk to Will Crowe. But oddly enough, nobody was warmed up in the bullpen. And the place got juiced after that. I mean, you could hear it on TV. I'm sure if anybody was there, I don't know if you'd be listening to this pod, but if you were there, you could probably speak even more. Yankee Stadium was on fire. I mean, they were ridiculous. They were loud. They were down 3 runs. And Rizzo gets the double. They come out and talk to Will Crowe. And at that point, if you are Derek Shelton, you need to at least have somebody get up in the bullpen. I don't care who it is. I know somebody had to be out there to potentially come in for Will Crowe. Let alone, he doesn't put anybody in. Will Crowe loads the bases, and Giancarlo Stanton comes up, and realistically, my thoughts in my head when the bases were loaded, they were down 3, home run ends the game. I said, there's a 50-50 chance that Stanton hits this over the left field wall. I didn't think he would pull it to right field. I didn't think he'd hit it dead center. I said there's a 50-50 chance that Giancarlo Stanton hits this over the wall. As soon as he hit the ball, I knew it was a home run. I did. I knew it was. It was a laser to left field. And shout out to the Yankees. They clawed back. Judge hit a historic home run. Rizzo kept things going. And everybody else did what they needed to do, including Stanton, who now is tied all time for the most walk-off grand slams in MLB history with 3. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm surprised. Will Crow started this year pretty good for the better part of it. But since he's been disgustingly awful, especially in that moment. That's the moment where the Pirates miss David Bednar the most. David Bednar comes into that game, and I'm 85% sure he shuts things down, even if he gives up the Judge home run. I think he shuts it down, and the Pirates are winning that baseball game, and there's a much different sentiment from myself and everybody on Pirates Twitter and social media this afternoon. And it's a message that I don't particularly like because, yes, we should be upset. I am upset. But I'm here to tell you, management and the coach and management is not as upset about that loss as we are. That is a huge game for the Pittsburgh Pirates here at the end of the season. Albeit they're 55-92 at that point. As you see, the graphic below on YouTube is updated with the ticker to say they're 55-93. That is a major game for this young team. You got nothing but really good baseball from the offense finally. Brian Reynolds has freaking 4 hits. Rodolfo Castro has the big home run to put them up 8-4. And I preached it yesterday on the podcast. I said the offense needs to give the starting pitching backup. They need to give them run support. Luis Ortiz, man, he's the one I feel the most bad for today. Why? Because Luis Ortiz pitched the game, I wouldn't say the game of his life, but he pitched a very, very solid game against a strong Yankees lineup that, again, has had its inconsistencies this year, but for the most part has been good. He did a very good job against that Yankees lineup last night. What happens? He doesn't get credited with a win. The team blows a 4-run lead in the bottom of the 9th inning. What message does that send to a young guy like Luis Ortiz after he pitches a very solid game against a very tough Yankees team? That, is it just not going to ever matter that I pitch 5 good innings? It's frustration at this point for Pirates fans. I don't blame you guys for wanting the season to be over because we're tired of seeing this shit. We really are. We're tired of every other week, it feels like, or almost even every other day, it feels like we have something to complain about because Derek Shelton didn't make a decision to pull Will Crow there, or O'Neal Cruz is batting 7th in the lineup for whatever godforsaken reason. It's how the team is being operated right now. I would love nothing more, Locked On Pirates faithful, to change the narrative. Have something different to talk about. Or not to display my language, not to bitch and moan about this team. But it's the same sentiment that you guys have right now. And at the core of it, I am a fan of this Pirates team. Nothing more, nothing less. Yes, I'm a podcast host, but I'm a fan at heart. I tell you guys what I think and get your opinions on what I think. What I think is whenever this team had all the young kids playing and whenever they were beating the Dodgers in LA and splitting with the Yankees, it makes you think, why management punted on this season? Why? Why did they do it? This was supposed to be a season of progress. This is the 3rd year of this garbage now. You had the 100-loss season last year. If not for COVID, you would have had a 100-loss season in 2020. You went 19-41. Don't have to do the math to say that's a 100-loss pace. you're probably losing 100 games again. And I know this year a lot of people are looking at the Baltimore Orioles as a team that the Pirates could potentially be in 2023. You want to know the difference from the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Baltimore Orioles? The Orioles at least have competent coaching. They're not going to make the playoffs. I can tell you that right now. I told you guys about the playoff race yesterday. Take a lot for them to make it. But at least they're there. At least it's something that Connor Newcomb, our wonderful host at Locked on Orioles, can look forward to every day to say there is at least a viable chance that the Orioles are going to be in the conversation in the final week. Do the Pirates have a chance to do that in 2023? Of course they do. Look at the guys they have coming up next year. Endy Rodriguez, potentially Henry Davis, Matt Frazier, Connor Scott, Quint Priester, Michael Burrows. Sure, Luis Ortiz, the way he's been playing, will probably be a mainstay. Cody Bolton, Nick Gonzalez, Leover Piguero. The list goes on and on and on of the guys that are going to be available at the expense of Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton, and all these guys. And I'm here to tell you, I'm not an owner of a baseball team. I'm not a general manager. I don't know what would fix this team, but I could give you an idea. Throw Andy Haynes into the sun. I know this wasn't on the offense yesterday, but at some point you have to build a consistent basis of what you want this team to be. Is this what you want this Pirates team to be, Ben Cherington? Is this what you want this team to be, Bob Nutting? Because Pirates fans could sure as hell tell you this isn't what we want to see. The NL Central at its core right now is a crapshoot. The Cardinals are the clear, obvious favorite of the NL Central in 2023 if they keep everything together and Arenado and Goldschmidt don't fall off a cliff. The Cubs will spend money, but are they really going to be a playoff contender? The Brewers. They're going to lose some pieces. And I'm here to tell you the Brewers ain't getting any better. Then there's the Reds, who they're not going to spend money. So why not take the opportunity that is right in front of you, where you could say the Brewers are going to get worse. The Reds are not going to be that good. And the Cubs, even if they spend money, probably not going to be that good. Take the opportunity that is right in front of your damn face. Spend a little bit of money. The bare minimum. Spend $30 million in free agency on starting caliber pitching. Just spend it. It's not going to kill you. Because guess what? At the core of it, I talked to Chris Castellini, former host of Locked On Tigers, last night in Twitter Spaces, and he said the 2023 Pirates could be a lot like the 2022 Tigers. But you know what I at least give the Tigers credit for? They at least went out and spent money to try to get pieces around Spencer Torkelson and their young players. Javi Baez, Eduardo Rodriguez. They at least tried. Did it work out? No. Look at the Texas Rangers. Different market, different entire piece, different entire thing. Look at the Rangers. Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. John Gray. Yeah, they still suck, but at least they tried. That's all I'm asking for is for the Pirates to at least try to be competitive. I didn't realize Matt Canada was on this staff because all the Pirates did this season was punt. That's all they did. You could tell me all you want about the progression of Rodolfo Castro, Neil Cruz, K-Brian Hayes even getting better defensively, Jack Sawinski, Cal Mitchell. You can tell me about all of that. But what does it matter that all these players are progressing if the overall product is still god-awful? What does it tell you? What does it tell you if the product is still god-awful? It won't matter in the grand scheme of things. It really won't. Brian Reynolds arguably had the best game of his season yesterday, and the Pirates lost 9-8. Because of incompetence in the coaching staff, incompetence in management, and putting a poor product on the field. And guess what? I'm not even going to blame the players. It's not their fucking fault. It's not. It's not their fault. If you want to blame the players, go for it. It's not their fault. If you say it's the players' fault right now, just tell me about it, but I'm not going to agree with you. But what your special someone might agree with is getting BlueChew. Summer's winding down, the nights are getting longer, but the breeze isn't the only thing that's getting stiff. That's right. This episode is sponsored by BlueChew. Guys, we all know that confidence can take you far in life. That's especially true in the bedroom, especially when it's time to step up to the plate. That's where BlueChew comes in. BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of our licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. BlueChew tablets are made in the United States and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. With BlueChew, men everywhere are excited to see the postman because when their package has arrived, their package has arrived. They always say first impressions are important, but what about lasting impressions? It's time to get off the couch and back to work. If your tool needs an upgrade, head to BlueChew.com. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and BlueChew can help your confidence where it counts. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. And you've got a special deal for our listeners. Try BlueChew free when you use our promo code LOCKEDON in all caps at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com/promo code LOCKEDON to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring this podcast. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my rant. I usually enjoy my rants. I think they're pretty fun. They're pretty valuable. But we do have something fun, at least, happening tonight. Roansy Contreras will be on the mound tonight against his former team in the New York Yankees against Luis Severino. And I said that I predicted a series sweep to begin this series yesterday. I do think the Pirates still lose. I would like to see Roansy Contreras have a good outing. I think he has a very good chance at doing it. But after a loss like that last night, tell me why the Pirates should win this game tonight. Because I can't. The offense performs the same way it does. I wouldn't be surprised if Contreras has a good game. But when you have the worst bullpen in baseball right now, kind of hard to win games against a strong team like the New York Yankees. Also, a fun tidbit that I told Stacey Gotsulias before the series started, that Aaron Judge can go hitless in this series and still have more home runs than the Pirates have wins. Does Judge hit number 61 tonight? Very possible. Could he hit number 62? Very possible. Aaron Judge is having a crazy year. He really is. And he bet on himself. He really did. He turned down that $230 million extension. He's in a contract year. He's about to break Roger Maris's record for home runs in a season by an AL hitter. He bet on himself. Can't really be mad at him for that. The Yankees are a good team. Do I think they're going to win the World Series? No. Do I even think they're going to play in the World Series? No. I think the AL is too stacked. They are one of those teams, but I think the AL is stacked. You're looking at a playoffs that's going to feature Cleveland, New York, Houston, Seattle, Toronto, and Tampa Bay. Toronto, I think, is the dark horse there. I think they have a real chance to get to the World Series with that offense. If their pitching can stand up on its head, oh yeah. But for the Pirates, I said yesterday, what do I want to see down the stretch of the year? Be competitive. At the heart of yesterday's game, and it sucks how they lost, they were at least competitive in the way that they played. You went up 4 runs in the Bronx against a top team in the American League. And you know what? You're going to have to get used to this. Because the schedule next year, the Pirates play everybody. They play the Angels. They play the Astros. They play the Yankees. They play the Blue Jays. They play the Rays. They play the Guardians. They're going to play all of these teams next year. So it's not like it's getting any easier, because now, on top of already having to play the Mets, the Braves, the Yankees, the Phillies, all the playoff teams in the National League, you now got to go do it against the American League. So my statement still reigns true about this team, that I want to see them continue to improve down the stretch of the year, which I thought we saw yesterday. There were some good improvements. Rodolfo Castro has been a revelation since that phone fell out of his pocket in Arizona. Luis Ortiz has been a welcome surprise. Roansy Contreras and Mitch Keller have both been good. And you're starting to see some individuals cementing themselves on the 2023 roster. But at some point, these have to turn into wins numerically. And that's what I think Roansy Contreras could potentially do tonight. Is Roansy going to be good enough to take over the Pirates' curse against his former team? Possibly. Do I expect the offense to give him the same run support they gave Luis Ortiz last night? Not a chance. If you bet me right now that the over on this game would hit again for the Pirates and the Yankees, I'd tell you no. It's the same over-under. It's 8.5. I don't think it hits tonight. I think the Yankees, like I said yesterday, I think they win like 5-3, 5-2. I think the offense does nothing for the better part of it, except O'Neill, Cruz, Castro, and Reynolds doing their normal thing. I think Contreras is going to go about 5 innings, maybe give up 1 or 2 runs in there, have a great outing, and the bullpen's going to do what it has for the last month or so. Just going to give the lead away or make the game unreachable. I think that's what happens tonight. At the core of it, though, I just want the Pirates to remain competitive. Is that really that much to ask? Is it really that much to ask? Just be competitive. Because if they win that game last night, I would have firmly told you right now they wouldn't have lost 100 games. Now you're probably losing tonight, which means you can only go 8-5 or 9-5 down the stretch of the year to avoid 100 losses. And I get it. They play Chicago and they play Cincinnati. Those are series that are winnable. How many games do we really think the Pirates are going to win against St. Louis in those final 6? Really? How many do you think? There is a shockingly real realization that the Pirates could be no-hit this year and win a game, which they did. Give up Albert Pujols' home run that tied Alex Rodriguez on the list. Give up Judge's 60th home run, potentially his 61st or 62nd, depending on how tonight goes, and be the team that surrenders Pujols' 700th home run. And you know what the team will call this? Progress. Tell me what progress we've seen as a team this year. Not individually, as a team. What progress have you seen from the Pirates this year? We'll talk about that more tomorrow on the Locked On Pirates podcast, where we will be previewing the series against the Chicago Cubs. Remind yourself, on Friday, we will be getting a series recap, as well as talking to Stacey Gotsulias about Aaron Judge's phenomenal season and the New York Yankees playoff chances here on the Locked On Pirates podcast. Thank you all for tuning in, as you always do every single day. Make sure you go check out Locked On MLB with Paul Francis Sullivan, who projected 3 Aaron Judge home runs tonight. He has everything you need to know about the MLB playoff races and more. I am your host who does the most, Ethan Smith. Hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you on the flip side.